Hello, it's me, Chastity White Rose, and I have some things to talk about tonight while I walk to work. Because I haven't really had time to write this down, and I've been busy. But I've been having some conversations with Jotham in my email about my books, actually. There's this guy named Jotham, I don't know if that's the real name or what, but had messaged me about my assembly arithmetic algorithms, and we're talking about the philosophy behind why I write the books that I do. And Jotham has noticed some themes about, my computer programming books, teaching people how computers work, my chess books, teaching people how to play chess, and all these things are intellectual pursuits. It's about educating people, making them smarter, teaching them skills that are often lacking in this world, because basically I want to empower people to play chess and use their computers to the fullest extent. And being a technical writer and trying to break down technical concepts, especially related to programming, is part of educating people to do the same things that I can do. And I have a little example for you here. So I recently bought myself a Google Chromebook because I wanted to have a computer that I keep at my mom's place when I'm over there to use as a writing computer and to play Words with Friends with her, since she wants to play Words with Friends. And one of the things that the Chromebook has is the developer mode. It lets you install a mini Linux distribution. It's a form of Debian. So you create the size of partition you want in the Chromebook after you enable the developer mode. And then you can install Debian Linux into this partition, and you can run an entire Linux operating system in a little emulator inside a Google Chromebook's Chrome OS, which is really, really cool. So the implications of this are astounding, because, believe it or not, I have managed to get DOSBox working, running under the Linux version of DOSBox, running under the Linux emulator, which is running under Chromebook. So Chromebook is emulating a PC that's running Linux. And then that Linux distribution has DOSBox, which is emulating DOS. So I can actually run DOS and Linux programs that I wrote in assembly language on my other Linux computer. I can actually run all my assembly programs on these DOS and Linux systems, which is really cool. But that's not all. Recently, I tried TinyCore Linux again. Now, TinyCore Linux is a distribution that I tried a long time ago when I was experimenting with different distros that run in RAM. You know, there's Damn Small Linux, there's Puppy Linux, there's Antix, and there's TinyCore Linux. Now, TinyCore Linux is just about the perfect operating system for the times that we live in. And here's why. Because it's very basic. It's small, it boots fast. And what I've been doing is I've been running it in the QEMU PC emulator. So I can actually boot TinyCore Linux. It's like a 20 megabyte file, the ISO that you can boot in an emulator, or you can copy it to a USB drive and boot a real PC with it. Now, what's nice about TinyCore Linux is it doesn't include very much in the base. There's like 3 different flavors that TinyCore Linux has. They have the core, which is basic command line. Then they have the TinyCore, which interestingly has more. It has the X Window system and a little graphical system. And then you have TinyCore Plus, which actually supports Wi-Fi and a few more things. So they have 3 different ISOs you can download on the website. But here's what I found interesting. When I tried to download the ISO on the Chromebook, the Chrome browser blocked it for security reasons and wouldn't let me download the ISO within the web browser. So what did I do to download the ISO? I booted up my Linux system running on the Chromebook, and then I used the wget utility. I copy pasted the link to the ISO file in the web browser, and then used wget with the URL as a command line argument, and downloaded the file into my Linux distribution running on a Chromebook because the Chrome browser wouldn't let me do it. So basically, I bypassed the security system of Chrome OS that's saying, oh no, we're not going to allow you to download this ISO of this Linux operating system. So instead, I used the Linux operating system that they provided to install QEMU from the repository and to boot that ISO that I was able to download using the wget utility. So I outsmarted Chrome OS using the tools they provided me. But that's not all. They also tried to block the download of the PDF. The PDF file, that, tells you how to use Tiny Core Linux. They wrote a whole book explaining the philosophy and how to use it. And so Chrome OS is trying to prevent people from downloading PDFs that they can read, downloading CD ISOs that they can boot on a real PC or emulator. But by providing a Linux distribution inside Chromebook, they allow me to bypass their stupid security settings that block me from downloading the files I want to download on the Chromebook I bought. So basically, the moral of this story is that when you're smart and you know how to use Linux command line, you can basically do the things that you're not supposed to be allowed to do. That's the fun of it. And the reason I'm recording this video right now is to help remind me of my philosophy and why I do what I do. Basically, I want to teach people not only computer programming and chess, I want to teach people how to use Linux, how to get started doing some of the cool things that I do. Because it's amazing. You can do computer programming, you can download the files you want to read, there's all kinds of things you can do when you're a Linux user and you know how to use the command line. And it all fits the same spirit, because when I wrote my DOS assembly book, it was sharing knowledge I had learned because I used to use Microsoft DOS on old computers. One of those computers had two colors, black and orange. All the text was orange on a black screen. It was so cool. And knowing how to type commands has enabled me to navigate well enough in Linux environments now. The same rules apply. Plus, I can navigate within DOSBox and run DOS commands and even write assembly language programs in DOS. And so it's just really cool. It's a good time to be alive because this technical knowledge is becoming increasingly important. When people are trying to pass these age verification laws that make it so children can't learn to use computers, I'm going to be teaching children how to use computers and anybody else who wants to learn, because I'm going to keep writing books and I'm going to make sure people have access to this knowledge. Because knowledge is power, as a good friend once told me. And people need to be able to learn things. Being able to read the books you want and not have them locked down by digital restrictions management like some of these companies do. It's like, oh, well, you can buy this book, but you can only read it on our Kindle device and stuff. And the authors have the power here, because you can choose as an author, when you publish something with Amazon or another company, you can choose whether you have digital rights management, set up on your EPUB file or whatever. So authors need to make the conscious choice to allow their books to be viewed on any device by removing these restrictions, That's something I do because I'm all about freedom. And that's why, I make sure my books are available in multiple formats. Sometimes even making a whole website, like Chastity's Code Cookbook, It's an entire website hosted on GitHub pages. You know, it works. So yeah, that's kind of how it is I want to empower the users to use their computers and to play chess and do all the things that I've enjoyed doing, because these things give me great pleasure. And I just want to share the knowledge with people. And I hope to summarize and write this down later.